once. Move your body to the rhythm now. You only live once.
In the previous episode of YOLO Hangout,
For me, I think sex is something both are to enjoy. So I don't know why a guy would think of raping a lady. You only want to enjoy it alone, whilst you are both supposed to enjoy.
When I was in lower primary, I had confrontation with a girl and I mistakenly touched her backside. My dad beats me very bitterly. And since that day,
then,
I've
you've
never,
not
and it
touched
has
a
never
girl.
crossed my mind.
today the discussion gets even hotter.
First time walking into a pharmacy to purchase a condom. But when I got it, the first question the pharmacist asked me was, "Who sent you?" I was like, "I'm going to use it." Then he was like,
Condoms is not 100%, and sometimes you get carried away. Right now, when you are doing it, I think you do it under pressure.
YOLO, you only live once. Move your body to the rhythm. You only live once.
Thank you for joining us again on the YOLO Hangout, which is brought to you by the National Population Council, supported by USAID and facilitated by Communicate for Health. Today, we are talking condoms, sibling relationships, unprotected sex and its consequences. Good life! Good life! YOLO! Now remember that you can still join the conversation on social media. Now post your thoughts to our social media pages. It's YOLO Ghana on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Yeah, don't waste any time. He's waiting.
You have to make up your mind though.
Come on, yeah, this is the only way. If you really want to hang out with us, you've got to step up and do this. Go.
I'm sorry, sir. I have to focus on my education.
What?
Here's your phone.
Be a positive influence on your friends. You only live once, so make the smart choice.
Good life. It's an everyday thing. Good life. Live it well. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and Partners is here to make healthier, happier living an everyday thing.
Welcome back. Now, as per usual, we have a guest presenter. Now, our guest presenter today is none other but the man who walks like... Let's welcome Pusha! Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So I have Pusha here with me, known in real life as Ajete Anand. So I'll just quickly ask you how you were able to smoothly transition from things we do for love to YOLO.
I think that between things to do for love and YOLO, there's a long gap of years, and so growth took place. I might say that the character matured in a lot of ways, so that if you haven't seen things to do for love and you see YOLO, you think that that is all Pusha is about. But I think the maturity set in, and then of course when you live a certain lifestyle, there are consequences.
Okay, now let me take you to set life. Now on set of YOLO, there were a lot of younger people who are and were looking up to you. Okay, so how was it relating to the younger folk on YOLO?
I think the ability for us to all blend, even from the foundation of things to do for love, the director, the producers always set the pace of a family kind of thing, so it was more like a team at play than individuals.
So did any of them walk up to you, since you've been in the industry for a long time, for advice, for guidance, for how to take up a role, how to put life into a role?
Yeah, I mean, a few of them did, of course, but beyond what you tell any student, the one crucial thing is that whatever that you have, make it unique, make it your own.
All in all, did you enjoy your time on set of YOLO?
Oh yeah, I did.
Amazing. Take a look at the scenes from some episodes of YOLO.
I walk the walk, the talk the talk.
I'm a body hard guy, but condom is one thing I can never go to a pharmacy and go and buy, Charlie. Decide. I wish they only the fits. Bro, hey, I decide.
Make I tell you what happened. Oh, me we have figure, Charlie. My boy has calm. Like a big guy. I make nice. I dey go buy condom. Bro, see, I catch there. I see. I mean, you know when they put the condom for the counter, the left side. Oh, I catch there. I figure the woman go be friendly. Send her Charlie, then Jay the friend from there where he left the lipe. Hey, come see tension. My heart they caught. We are say, nah, I never go weak for here. We are take the money buy chocolate. We are chop for there, nah. Bro, I buy chocolate chop for there now live.
So you buy the chocolate for me?
Oh, big one, big. We are buy pure water sand take quench.
See, you self carry make I carry my own self, Charlie. See, me and some girl be entered the pharmacy inside and wait, Charlie. So yawa be like that.
Be so.
Yeah, madam, I had condom. I don't want the extra large, the one I will feel comfortable.
What? Condoms? We are not buying condoms. Just pay for the drinks and let's go.
But Charlie, what's up?
We are not buying any condoms. What are you going to use it for? On whom? Me? Pay for the drinks and let's go.
See, you know my own. Before my boys, then you take to go do some experiment for that.
I don't care. Okay, I don't care. Since when did you turn into a condom distributor? Please pay for the drinks. That's all we are getting.
Okay, madam, you give you one. We go take two balloons for her.
We are not buying any condoms. Madam, please, you are not buying any condoms. Pay for the drinks and let's go.
Okay, so moving on to our first set of discussions. We are talking about condoms. Now, we see Drogba in a pharmacy trying to buy condoms. Have any of you walked into a pharmacy to buy condoms, and how was the feeling?
First time walking into a pharmacy to purchase a condom, I was sent by my brother because he was very shy to go to the pharmacy. But when
how old were you?
I was like 15 by then.
Okay.
When I entered the pharmacy, but those times I don't have these things like beer.
You weren't asked questions as to why a 15-year-old was buying a condom?
But when I got it, the first question the pharmacist asked me was, "Who sent you?"
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to use it. Then they
Okay, so still in reference to YOLO, we see that Abrantier and George are the opposite of Drogba. Now, Drogba can go and ask to buy a condom, but Abrantier and George cannot. How many of you are Abrantier and George here? Who can't walk into a pharmacy to buy a condom, and why?
Because the pharmacist and my mom, they're like this. And they communicate. So when I just come and purchase it, she will give it to me all right, but when I get home...
Your mommy would have heard of it before.
Condom, no, there
seems to be some kind of a perception that if you're a young boy and you walk into a pharmacy to buy condom, then you're a bad boy. Yeah. Is that what is driving some of the...
Yeah. Especially in the Ghanaian society. If you come to, especially the guy and the airways, when you enter a pharmacy, what the VV are
What's up, girl? How you doing now?
Let's go to town to see what our friends think about this topic.
I can walk into a pharmacy to buy a condom because I asked that really shy to buy a condom. It's what I need it for. It's not what the pharmacist's perception is. I may need it for educational purposes.
Let's get some expert advice from the youth corner on this topic.
As young people, abstinence is the best option. But if you are sexually active, do well to protect yourself. Condoms can be accessed in most of the pharmacy shops. But young people are not able to patronize these products because of the attitude of some service providers. Young people are advised to walk freely and confidently into the shops to get the condoms. Adults and service providers at these shops should be receptive because whether they are receptive or not, young people are continually having sex. Rather, take the opportunity to educate them about the proper use of condoms and the consequences of having unprotected sex.
Take a look at the scenes from some episodes of YOLO.
Wait, the two of you, what do they do together? Hey, Kwame, what have you been telling my sister?
Nothing. I don't want to accompany her to the coconut sale.
Hey! You see how they can't circle you? Hey? You be fit company? Why they accompany him?
Why? She says she's afraid.
Hey! Now you are they talk to you, they want to show me 2014 flex or what? Huh?
You said I should shut up, so me I won't talk.
Oh, what is their own talk, no? Eh? Fine, you can talk. I'm asking you something, I'm serious.
So I just said shut up.
What has this boy been telling you?
I told you Nana Kwame is in my class, and we are just friends, that's all.
I'm not going to buy that.
So our next topic of discussion is sibling relationships. Now citing an example of George and Anne in YOLO. They're always, going head to head, especially because of Nana Kwame. So do you think that younger siblings should feel free to open up to the older ones concerning things like this?
If you have a little sibling and she doesn't open up to you, she's doing something behind you or he's doing something behind you, you don't have any idea about it, and let's say something bad happens, I'm sure you feel bad. Understand me? So if they open up to you, they tell me that, brother, I'm doing this, sister, I'm doing that. Your experience that you've had before, you just open up to them and tell them that, okay, this is what I've also done in the past. This is how you go about it. I'm sure you can also help out.
It's the serene environment you create for them. It's like if we
are
having
an older sibling.
Yeah, like if we are so free to the extent, like even when you steal, you come and tell me that, like, and there is nothing you hide from me. So it's not about you telling her, but it's the environment you create between you and your younger siblings.
Okay.
Probably just an extension to what he just said. I think that with this issue, what we should bear in mind is that we're not caught in a scenario where we're repeating the things that we disliked about how our parents handled issues like that. And if I'm right, there were scenes where he tried to shut the sister down or warn the other guy to stay away from the sister.
Yeah.
I think that boys do that a lot, and it will be falling into that same style that our parents did, and so I think that there's a way in which we should guide them. Of course, they should know their limits, but of course create that kind of environment where that she can share anything with you.
So based on what Pusha said, would you say that how George handled the situation between Anne and Nana Kwame was right or wrong?
It was wrong. It was obviously wrong because he's not like that with the sister, and the sister also hides stuff from him.
All he knows is asking money.
That's the thing, and he's not creating that serene environment for them to like discuss about those things. So definitely the girl will just hide things from him, and how he was treating the girl to rather push the girl into like getting more into the guy and stuff.
Okay, we are going for a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Meet Sandra. She's 16 years old. Her dream was to become a doctor. She began studying hard to achieve her dream. It seemed nothing could stop her. That is until she met Bob. Her friends warned her to take it slow, but she wouldn't listen. And then she missed a period. Now her parents are disappointed in her. She can hardly face all those she loves, and her friends pretend they don't know her. And as for Bob, all because she missed one period. As a teenager, every period counts while you're in school to achieve your dreams. You only live once, so make the smart choice.
Good life. It's an everyday thing. Good life. Live it well. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and Partners is here to make healthier, happier living an everyday thing.
Welcome back. It's still the YOLO Hangout, and take a look at the scenes from some episodes of YOLO.
It's my ex. I didn't want to do it. He forced me, and I was scared, and I also didn't know what to do. He took me somewhere. He took me somewhere to take it out.
To take what out?
Okay, so let's move on to unprotected sex and its consequences. With reference to Ruby, who had unprotected sex and is now seeking for advice and for help. Do you know people like Ruby? Do you have friends like Ruby who find themselves in situations and after that want help desperately?
I have a friend like that, a female, and she has this kind of attitude. Any guy that she sees, the guys, let's say, you see these SHS people, these interpees who have the hype and the name and stuff, she gets close to them 1 or 2 days, a week, I claim. A week or two, another one. You understand? And when she does that and she comes back, oh, don't do this, don't do that. And you're married today, tomorrow, I claim.
I also have a girlfriend like that. When girls are talking about a sex life and having a protected sex, she doesn't talk about it. She's always kind of left out. So recently, she called me and told me she's pregnant. What does she do about it? Well, I didn't know what to tell her because I wouldn't want to tell her to go and get rid of it. I had to take my hands off it and tell her to get someone who is more matured to talk to her.
I think that the consequences are always much bigger than the pleasure, you know, and if you look at this situation between Pusha and Yonam, you know that immediately, you know, it broke those ties, and of course they brought a boy into the world, and he is in the middle, torn between, you know, these parents who don't see eye to eye. It does more harm to the kid, you know, the kid's future, his relationships, even future relationships as well, because he's picking bits and pieces from here, from there, and he doesn't have the whole holistic, you know, parenthood.
Yeah, I think young people of nowadays, we are rushing. Let's forget about the pleasure in it and find pleasure in other things. Like you can protect yourself and still get pregnant. Condoms is not 100%. And sometimes you get carried away. Right now when you are doing it, I think you do it under pressure. Because it's not right.
Okay, take a look at the scenes from some episodes of YOLO.
You don't know me well. Never.
But you've had sex before.
That was only twice while I was in the States. I told you.
Well, once you're in a relationship, anything can happen. Cyril or Jordan, one of them could demand for it very soon if you don't ask for it to yourself.
Very funny.
Oh, really?
But even that one, we use the condom, so...
Yeah, but then you can't be too careful.
Still in reference to YOLO, Mamiya makes a point that Ruby's situation could happen to anybody, but Emily disagrees. Which side of that dialogue do you take?
Can I say I take both sides?
Why?
Someone can be raped. And just like she says, is under pressure. You don't know when it's going to happen. Like you are with your boyfriend, not thinking this is going to happen, and it happens. I second Mamiya on she's saying it can happen to anyone. And the other side of Emily, she's saying it's not going to happen to her because she's thinking she's going to totally abstain from it and cut off the bad friends.
All right, Prisha, what's your take on this discussion? Do you think that it can happen to anyone or you can control the situation?
There are two sides of it. You know, there's truth in both sides. It really can happen to anybody, depending on what the circumstance situation is. But of course, you know, we still have the willpower, you know, to say no or yes. The choice is still in our hands, and I think that devoid of any drags or, you know, things that we don't have power over, you know, we can say no.
It can't happen to anyone. Sex is a decision. So, most of you are saying that everybody is doing it. Please, some people are still virgins. So please, it can't happen to anyone. It's a decision. If you say you won't do it, you won't do it. No matter the pressure, you can still abstain.
As youth of today, would you say it's good to read literature about adolescent reproductive health?
It will be really good to read literature about that. But the problem is, some of us don't like reading. I, for instance, I don't like reading at all. So, like, I prefer the commercials on TVs and all those stuff that will be very entertaining as well as educative.
Well, reading it is very good, but after reading too, you need some direct advice from an elderly person as well.
Take a look at the scenes from some episodes of YOLO.
I needed you to do me a little favor, like right now.
Me, do you a favor.
Why, what's wrong?
The last time you asked me to do you a favor, you went about telling your friends that you have finished me.
Finished you? Me? Where finished me?
Yes, you.
So on to parenthood. Now, an example is Anne and her mother. Okay, now Anne overheard a conversation between Betty and George, and she was confused, and she went to her mother. Now, at that young age, her mother took the time to explain certain things to her. Would you say that was right or wrong?
It was right. It was the best thing her mom could do. And I have this experience with my mom. And because she explained certain things to me from childhood, I'm able to open up to her and talk a lot with her. So
even though I'm close with my parents, they don't tell me things like that. But my elder sister educates me on stuff like that. So.
Okay. What's your take on that, Fisher?
Well, I think that my take here would probably be for the parenting side, and I think that most often than not, children offer so many opportunities that parents may lose sight of. There are instances where children will come up to their parents to ask a question, and instead of shutting them down, you rather be curious about how much they know, and then you can take it from there in explaining them and guiding them in the right direction.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you have a child?
I do. I have a son.
A son. Do you know him very well?
I'm getting to know him well.
Because to me,
yeah,
I feel what I want you to know, that's what you know. So you be like, maybe with your peers, you be like, oh, my son is not like this. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. Because that's what I want you to see. But when I'm out, what I do is way different. So how can you get me to tell you that side of me?
I think that it starts in a very, very early age, and you don't wait for the kid to grow and form his own styles and belief systems. It's how you bond with the kid, even when the baby is in the mommy's belly. That's how early you start. It's like you're building the foundational blocks, and so when he or she comes out, then it begins. You're expressive. You talk to him about things. You're able to allow him or her to express themselves.
So Pusha, how would you say relating to children should be? Should it be based on your childhood experiences, your upbringing, or you should just go with the flow with you and your child?
And so yeah, I want to believe that most of the times, parents want the awards to be better, live a better life, in all spheres, well disciplined, accomplish a lot than they did. Of course, their experiences will shape in them in a certain way, and they would also want to. Sometimes it feels like they're breathing it down our necks, but because of what they have gone through, they would wish that none of their kids would go through the same way, and it's always tough. And so people don't think that your parents are being hard on you. I'm sure that every parent, most parents, want the best for you, and that should be it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to town to see what our friends think about this topic.
For me, my parents don't talk about sexual stuff with me. But I think they should start it while the child is growing up. So for instance, when the child is like, you are watching a movie and you see certain acts, like a certain part of it, you start discussing it. So once the child is like reaches adolescence, the child knows that like we've talked about this thing, so the child will feel a little bit open to talk to you. But if you don't start at all and gets to adolescence and start to talk, the child might say that you are prying into his or her life too much.
Yeah, don't waste any time. He's waiting.
You have to make up your mind though.
Come on, yeah, this is the only way. If you really want to hang out with us, you've got to step up and do this.
I'm sorry, sir. I have to focus on my education.
What?
Here's your phone.
Be a positive influence on your friends. You only live once, so make the smart choice.
Good life. It's an everyday thing. Good life. Live it well. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and Partners is here to make healthier, happier living an everyday thing.
Welcome back. Do you have questions for Pusha?
I would like to ask if you would give protection to your son, care or fear, then you use the protection.
Well, I've thought about it, you know, and especially when I had a son. You know, you start to think about those things, especially when he wasn't there. You know, my mind was like, oh, Charlie, you know, go happy. And I think that I definitely would. Of course, he's too young now for me to talk about that. But when he gets to the level where, you know, he's noticing all the changes that is happening, and, you know, he's so clear about who a girl or a lady is, you know, then you'd have to, even before that, you're prepping him for that. Because if you don't and you leave that vacant or there's a vacuum, then others would fill in that vacuum.
Pusha, putting yourself as Nanaya's parents now that he's caught up in the fame, you know, there will be more influence with his old friends that now you are famous, you know, girls will like you. What type of advice would you like to give him?
Be level-headed, focus, you know, you must know, like how I did or how I'm doing, is that you have so many favors, you have so many attention from all sorts of people, but focus, you know what the direction that you're going. There'll be distractions coming your way, but if you focus on what the agenda for you is, then you wouldn't be distracted.
It's been a pleasure having you on the YOLO Hangout, Pusha. Thank you so much for coming. And to our studio audience, you've been very interactive. Give it up for yourself. This has been the YOLO Hangout. It's brought to you by the National Population Council, supported by USAID and facilitated by Communicate for Health. Now, bear in mind that you can keep up with the conversation on social media by posting your thoughts on our various social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is YOLO Ghana. Good life.
Live it well.
Good life.
It's an everyday thing.
YOLO.
You only live once. You only live once. Move your body to the rhythm now. You only live once.